Feeling blessed, never stressed. Got that sunshine on my Sunday best. Hey, everybody. It's Brian. It's Friday, and I'm. I got to delete that last 10 minutes or 10 seconds because that was just some stupid. Oh my god, that was so stupid. Um, yeah, no, it's been a long week. Long. Well, since the last time I streamed. You ever wanted to hear the sound of three people simultaneously vomiting in three different bathrooms in a house? You should have been here about 3 a.m. on last Saturday, because I don't know what the hell I brought back from B-side Seattle, and I love my people in B-side Seattle, but some of y'all got some plague or something. We had the black plague or something. I don't know what was going on, but I either brought it back with me or whatever. But I was completely shit last week. I mean, figuratively and literally, I think. And running a fever and all kinds of stuff. So I actually started my job on Monday, still with the effects of what I was dealing with over the weekend. So yeah, it was a little rough. So, but um, started my new job on Monday. Yeah, it's a very interesting job, and that's it's not like the "May you live in interesting times" kind of insult. It's there's a lot of work to do, and I'm looking forward to it. One, I've had a good number of meetings this week, just drinking from the fire hose. Monday was mostly, hey, get to know the company, doing onboarding and what have you. They gave me a nice fat MacBook. I mean, seriously, it's the same as what I'm streaming with right now, which really, really nice. I'm still at the point where I should wear collared shirts to work because of my role, and I'm still wanting to try to make a good impression with the people I work with. So I'm sure as the year goes along, I will relax that. But so far, I've been wearing collared shirts pretty much most of the week, except when I go to the gym. That would be weird. And yeah, but a lot of good things that are going to be happening. I'm helping an industry that I didn't realize existed. Yeah, I would say that. And um, would never have heard of them if I hadn't seen the interesting job post that was happening there. So um, I also know that my boss has seen many of these streams. So hey, boss, how you doing? I swear I'm not doing this I'm doing this on Friday afternoon. So I think we just got off a meeting together about some things. So the one thing I think is important is um, we're going to be working to address a bunch of um, things that the company needs. And as the person who's going to be running the security program for that, I am excited about the opportunities this gives. I think the organization is excited to make these changes, which is something you don't hear a lot in many organizations. That if you've had stories where you know you're trying to make a change in an organization, there may be resistance or pockets of resistance in these things, and I'm not seeing that here at all yet. So I'm looking forward to the changes and working with engineering and working with GRC and working with um, you know the SOC and the C levels and management and what have you to get to that place and to get to a safer and a more secure place. So, anywho, I want to get off of that. Not only did I start a new job, actually it was not even the second day of work. I uh, had gotten my severance from Amazon, and my car's 8 years old. I had a Tesla, for those of you who don't realize, and 2018 had 40 some thousand miles on it, and I was like, I'm getting a new car. Problem is, cars are expensive, and I needed an EV because I don't like you know dinosaur drinking vehicles, and so um, this is my new car. I bought me a Lucid. It's used, not new. But to give you an idea of some of the OSINT issues with this car, it's a used car. It has 30,000 miles on it, which I was like, it's a 2-year-old vehicle. It's 2024. It's 30,000 miles on it. And I was like, who owned the car before? And you do a Carfax report, or in this case, Lucid had on their website like a report of, um, what the car is about, kind of like a Carfax report about the status of the vehicle. And it was owned by Livery Service. At least that's what it said. And so I get in my car and I'm learning about all the cool hotness of it. And let me see, there's another side of the vehicle. I have temporary plates, so you're like, oh, Brian, you didn't. That frunk right there, you can put a body in it. The the flat bit right here opens up, and there's a whole nother well up underneath it, kind of like how the Tesla has in the back, where you have a flat part that would allow you to go in, but then there's a well up underneath that will hold a full size cooler. Don't ask me how I know. Um, that's a Gravity next to it. The gold greenish one here. This is a Gravity, one of the brand new versions of this. And then of course this is the ass end of my vehicle. It has a roof and everything. That's temporary plates, so I'll get new plates. So oh, Brian, you didn't do whatever. It doesn't matter. It's temp plate anyway. So I went into the studio and they showed me all of the bells and whistles with regards to my vehicle. And so the one thing they didn't tell me was, oh yeah, you can open the glove box. And so I got into the glove box and found that they left the registration of the previous owner in there, and come to find out it was a wealth management company. And apparently they used this vehicle to ferry around their like crusty upper, rich ass people that they would bring in to like do, trips back and forth to the airport. And so after knowing that, I felt fairly confident that yes, it had a lot of miles on it, but the car was probably fairly well maintained, because if it was a wealth management company, they can't have a car that is shitty, right? So this was like a car as part of their fleet or something that um, is no longer being used. So it was helpful to have that bit of OSINT that I could pull up. I think it was probably not good that they left the vehicle registration of the previous owner in the glove compartment, but it was good to know that who owned it, because I couldn't get that specific information. I knew it was livery service, or like I thought it was an Uber or something. Somebody was using it as a Uber Lux or something. But yeah, it was just nice to have that. It drives real nice. It drives real nice. Oh, God damn it. I can't. Tell me okay, good. Couldn't see my audio. OBS has made some UI changes that have just really borked this system. So, yeah, it drives real nice. Real smooth, acoustically beautiful. Yeah, I mean, premium sound system. It has their Dream Drive system, which is very similar to Autopilot for FSD. It just it's being improved, but I didn't use that much anyway when I was driving it, my Tesla. So yeah, beautiful car, beautiful car. Not a bad price either for what I got it for. Anyway, had to go pick that up on Tuesday. So we got SocVel. Yeah, so we haven't done the quiz for a few weeks and thought it might be good. Actually, interesting bit here. So there we go. There's probably going to be some interesting articles in here, considering we being the U.S. Are involved in a land war in Asia. That always went well. What did Vicini say? Get involved in a land war in Asia? No. He said don't get involved in a land war in Asia. That's what he said. Anywho, I'm going to go over this. Hopefully as things settle down at work and I get into a rhythm, then I'll understand what my options are with regards to, being able to stream weekends, doing interviews again. I'm doing more shorts. I actually had a short about World Backup Day. So World Backup Day was on March 19th. And I didn't know it was a thing. March 31st? No, no, no. World Backup Day. Uh, yeah, it's World Backup Day, an unofficial holiday. Yeah, World Backup Day. Huh, they say March 31st is the day to back up and better protect your data. Okay, that's good to know. Um, Anywho, we'll get to that in a second. Let me see, close that. There we go. What is this? That is our stream. Okay. Zscaler attacked China Nexus actors targeting Gulf countries with which backdoor? The only two I know of are ActiveX, but that's a scripting language that was prevalent with Windows, so I'm not going to use that one. PlugX is possible, or X Files, X-Files was a TV show. X-Men is a superhero group. So I'm going to say PlugX. Yeah, look at me. All right, so go look over here. So yeah, so we have Threat Labs observed new activity from China Nexus threat actor targeting countries in the Persian Gulf region. I wonder which countries, because China would probably be on the side of Iran. Let me see. The activity took place within 24 hours of the renewed conflict in the Middle East. Threat actor weaponized the theme of the conflict using an Arabic language document lure depicting missiles attacks for social engineering. Interesting. So they were interesting. Well, I guess there have been several missile strikes that have gone a little astray into the United Arab Emirates, into Saudi Arabia. Shipping is under threat there. So let's see. They say the campaign used a multi-stage attack chain to deploy PlugX backdoor variant on infected systems. Shellcode and PlugX backdoor obfuscated techniques such as control flow flattening. Oh, there's one you can add to your list of things that you may not know and need to learn. And mixed Boolean arithmetic to hinder reverse engineering. Okay, so they wanted to make sure that it couldn't easily be reverse engineered or figured out who owned it for whatever reason. They don't necessarily have to be sophisticated these days, so they're adding this layer of obfuscation or sophistication to hinder reverse engineering. Maybe they're trying to use this long term, or maybe they were concerned that the people they were attacking had the capability to use it for their own purposes, or they thought it might get into the hands of people who work in those countries that might use it for their own benefit. I don't know. The PlugX variant in this campaign supports HTTPS for command and control, C2, and DNS over HTTPS for domain resolution. Okay. That way, DNS over HTTPS makes sense. I'm assuming it's some sort of tunneling mechanism there. Let me see. DNS over HTTPS hackers. Why would they use? Yes. Okay. So why disabling DOH? Okay. So this is critical. I'm not saying this is the reason why they're doing it, but it could be a reason. It could be a potential idea on how and why they're using DNS over HTTPS. There we go. It encrypts DNS queries by sending them through an HTTPS connection rather than traditional UDP or TCP protocols, right? It encrypts, whereas DNS over TLS is a protocol that encrypts DNS queries by sending them through TLS instead of the traditional, right? It can run on a dedicated port 853, and ensures that DNS lookups are protected from interception or tampering. So they could be doing this to remove the possibility of interception or additional artifacts in your egress. So if the C2 is making connections out looking for DNS lookups or something like that, it could be used as a way of making sure that there's less artifacts because they've already included obfuscation, in terms of what malformed Boolean something somethings. Um, they might be doing that for additional covering their tracks, right? So they're using control flow flattening and mixed Boolean arithmetic. So it could be any number of reasons why they would also want to hide their tracks by using routing their DNS requests over HTTPS. Um, they identify an attack chain around the ongoing Mideast conflict that delivers payloads via zip archive. So there's probably a photo. Oh no, look at the carnage. Unzip to look. Somebody unzips it. It's an LNK file that downloads and extracts the payload, which is a CHM file. CHM files are typical CHM files. They're compiled HTML, so they have HTML, JavaScript, all kinds of stuff inside of them in a combined, so like a website in a jar, if you will. The CHM file contains everything that makes the website work. So instead of like having the HTML and the images and the JS and whatever else that is needed, the WebP files or whatever, it's all contained in one file. 1 second. I want to make sure that I'm not being okay. Sorry, new job, so doing some double duty. Okay, cool. Okay. Good, looks good. All right. So yeah, that's why they're using that. Um, and oh, okay, I'm gonna have to move that up above. There we go. Move that up above as well. There we go. All right, so yeah, they have a PDF lure, so they have an option here. So it extracts copies of PDF, then extracts contents of an embedded tar file, and then executes the exe inside, which is a legitimate shell folder. Okay, side loads shell folder depend on DLL. So as a DLL decrypts the shelter X and loads the shellcode. So the shellcode is shelter.x. Loader shellcode creates the backdoor, which then reaches out to the C2 server over HTTPS using domain resolution over DOH. So it uses DOH for domain resolution. That means it's reached out to some sort of. They may be using a custom DNS server in this case, or the C2 server is working as DNS in this case. So when it makes the DNS over DOH, or it makes the DOH request over HTTPS, it's going automatically to that server. So you can't see anything from that connection. So yeah, very interesting article there for Zscaler. So let's go ahead and pop that in here for y'all. Paste. There we go. All right, so 1 for 1 so far. Number 2, Aikido warned of attacks compromising GitHub repos with what? Invisible Unicode, encrypted unicorns, and base 64 payloads. Okay, so that one's funny. Encrypted unicorns? Not that one. Encrypted Unicode, invisible Unicode. There are a good number of characters in Unicode that could be non-renderable potentially in a browser. So that one could be possible. And what it would show up is it would show up as nothing or a space because it can't be rendered by a browser in some cases. If you ever did the old Alt 255, if you press down Alt and use the keypad, you would gain access to additional characters in DOS way back in the day. And I used to use the Alt 255 because that would give you a null character, which would show up as a space and you could actually put spaces and file names in DOS. Unless you knew how to put that space in, you couldn't CD to that directory because even backspace, using a backslash to escape it wouldn't work. So uh, that's where I'd hide all my game files on the local computers so that I wouldn't have to, worry about like keeping them anywhere. Anyway, hmm, I'm thinking base 64 payloads, but that one's really easy. Compromising GitHub repos. I feel like could be encrypted to Unicode as well. I mean, you can encrypt Unicode; it'd be just encrypting characters. But I'm gonna go base 64 payloads. Nope, invisible Unicode. There you go. Glassworm. Oh, glassworm. Okay, Aikido. Oh, all right. So invisible threat. Visible threat we've been tracking for a year is back, while the Poland Rider campaign has been making headlines for compromising hundreds of GitHub repos. We have seen a new wave of glassworm activity hitting GitHub, NPM, and VS Code. All right. Last year, we wrote how Unicode characters were being used to compromise repos, tracing the technique back to a threat actor named Glassworm. All right. Well, let me go look at that. Okay. Because then we can see what exactly invisible Unicode is and see if I was correct or if I was just, full of crap. So malicious code is injected with invisible Unicode private use characters. Oh, okay. Unicode private use characters. Okay, so yeah, these are as you can see, this is what they look like when they don't render, right? So there's some kind of special character that doesn't render to a browser, or it's a specific language or something. There's quite a few of them. Oh my goodness. Okay, so wow, there's a whole ton of them to go all the way to. Okay, so eight F8 FF is the Apple symbol. Okay, or they may be reserved and not used. That's the other way I guess they could be used. So. Um, was there any here that rendered? No, nothing is rendered yet. Okay, so there's only one out of all of these from E000 to F whatever that rendered in this case. Um, Stealth by design. Can you spot the malware? So invisible Unicode characters, Unicode steganography. Okay. Everything has been collapsed into a single line, leaving almost no visual clue. The malicious code is tucked inside what looks like a normal project, hidden with legitimate commits. So it's just, wow, okay, that's interesting. Okay. So it just looks like that. Just, oh. And it's because they don't render inside of VS Code or anything like that. So um, there you go. Their use, according to Microsoft, they're custom characters that can be defined by individuals and organizations such as equipment manufacturers, user groups, government bodies, or font publishers. Their use enables users to form names and other words using characters that aren't available in standard screen or printer fonts. There you go. All right. So they're using, looks like, the BMP Unicode range, E0000 to F8FF. I guess I mean, that's a lot, right? They also can use these depending on that, and that's a fairly large group too, from 100 U.100,000 to U10 FFFFD. So several 100,000 characters in this case. Um, yeah, the characters used to define same code point might have different meanings in different contexts. Okay, well, I can understand exactly now why these are being used, why Glassworm is using them. because they can be changed and reused, and nobody really knows what they're used for, right? Right. This is what the injection looks like. Remember, the apparent gap in the empty backticks below is anything but empty. So that's what it looks like right there. There's actually a big bunch of stuff within there. So backtick string passed to S looks empty, but it's packed with invisible characters that, once decoded, produce a full malicious payload. So, and because they can use hexadecimal codes, they can manipulate it to do what they want. Oh yeah, here you go. You can see the malicious codes right here. So FE00, FEOF, FE00, E0100, E01EF. So, and that's all within a space. It would be within, because they're not rendered, right? So they're just there, right? Hey Walt, how you doing? Sorry, I didn't see. I was too busy trying to figure out what public use or PUAs were for Unicode. Um, so yeah, can't. How was your interviews this week? You were going to interview last week. How'd the interviews go, Walt? Uh, com- Compromised repos on GitHub. So you've got several fairly, well, some are more popular than others. You have one with 1,500 stars here, another one with you know several stars. Some of these are these are high value targets for downstream supply chain impact, right? So at least 62 people have spacefold, are using it elsewhere, right? So detection and protection. Visible threats require active defenses. You cannot rely on visual code review or standard linting to catch what you cannot see. This is where the ad comes in, because Aikido is built-in protection for invisible Unicode injection. So there you go. They tell you about it, and it's like, oh yeah, by the way, we have a thing for this, so you can go check it out. Um, one job on hold, one hasn't responded, one wants me to take a hacker rank test. I will be doing the test this weekend. All right, crossing fingers, man, crossing fingers. Hope everything is goes works out the best for you. All right, Unit 42. All right, our Talos folks. I think it's Talos. Did a threat assessment of what the hell kind of name is this? Boggy Serpens. What does everyone else call this group? I want to call it Muddy Waters, because boggy, muddy, serpens. I think it's Muddy Waters. Ding, 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 ding. Look at me. Boggy Serpens. Oh my goodness. Oh no, they're Palo Alto. My bad. Sorry, Unit 42 folks. My bad. I love y'all. You'll do some decent enough work like everyone else. There you go. There's Muddy Waters. You're talking about Muddy Waters. Ongoing cyber espionage campaign, Boggy Serpents, Muddy Waters, Iranian Ministry of Intelligence and Security. So weird. The Iranians are hacking people. Weird. I wonder why they would be doing that. Is there anything going on in their country that would have make them want to do hacking outside? Nothing comes to mind. Anyway, while social engineering remains its defining trait, the group is also increasing its technological capabilities. Well, you adapt, you learn new things, you apply the new learning to, cool hotness and opportunities that may come across your plate. Diverse tool set includes AI enhanced malware implants, incorporate anti-analysis techniques for long-term persistence. This combination of social engineering and developing tools creates a potent threat profile. Boggy Serpens. I don't know, man. I don't know. So to maintain access, the group has matured its development approach, employing AI-generated code and Rust-based tools like Blackbeard Backdoor to deploy custom implants. Okay. Group leverages standard HTTP status codes, customized user datagram protocol-based traffic, and Telegram API for command and control. Sure, why not? I mean, we're not blocking Telegram outside the United States, so use what you have. Palo Alto network customers are okay. Blah blah blah. All right, so if you're a Palo Alto network member, you can buy a bunch of stuff here if you want that will help you with your email security modules, that will help you against the boggy serpents or the muddy waters out there that exist. Also, if you think you've been compromised, contact Unit 42's IR team. So they don't pay me to say that, but it's right there on the website. You can just read it. So maybe I should have Unit 42 reach out to me, and we can get a sponsorship of Unit 42. I wouldn't hate on that. I wouldn't hate on that at all. I mean, it's obvious that these kind of folks do good work. They do regular work on this, on trying to keep things secure. So, alrighty. So Intel 471 says OpenClaw. OpenClaw is used as a lure to install info stealers. Which one of these is a well-known info stealer? Steal A, Steal B, Steal D, or Steal C? I'm sorry. Steal A, Steal B, Steal C, Steal D. There you go. Steela? I'm trying to figure out if they're trying to use like some leet speak or something in their name, because my thought would be to steal the D, if you will. Steal D is actually, yeah. I don't have an answer for this, but if I wanted to, go for the joke, it'd be steal the D. So, probably not. Yeah, steal C. Okay, steal C. All right. Steel claw, steel open claw, steel open claw, maybe. Steel claw in this case. Criminals pounced on the viral popularity of OpenClaw. Weird. Primarily to distribute information stealing malware that can harvest tokens, credentials, and browser data. In the future, developers may adapt information stealers to harvest OpenClaw agent configuration data containing secrets and operational context that can reveal integrations, tools, access paths, and potentially leading to software as a service or cloud compromise. Yes, I don't think if you work in information security and you have developers, I would say you have one or more developers that have installed OpenClaw on your work machines. To assume otherwise is folly. I believe that there are a number of developers out there that think that this is a great tool to use. Whether or not they've secured it leaves much to be desired and much to be seen. Now, they may have done so, but I would argue that any integrations that they've added and put OpenClaw on a workbox would probably be against acceptable use policy. And if they hasn't, maybe you need to update your acceptable use policy that you haven't updated in years, probably, to include things like OpenClaw or AI agentic agents that are not been vetted by people in the organization. You may take a zero tolerance policy on specific AI that should be or shouldn't be used. If you're using Claude or you're using anything in particular, that now is a time to choose and not be on the fence about what your organization is going to use for an AI. If your organization hasn't decided on which AI that they want their people to be using, you're already a little too late, and you probably should be looking at something like that. At least telling people what they can use, not like everything is banned, because they're going to use it anyway. At least give them an option that you feel comfortable using or evaluating, or something you can purchase to allow them to continue using them. Because the last thing you want is for them to be using OpenClaw in your environment, right? And not secure it or understand it enough to not compromise your systems. So yeah, yeah. I want to believe, I want to believe this is a hand-drawn graph, because you can see that the squiggly lines, but I have a feeling it's probably AI generated. Um, that's funny. Yep. And then it just to the moon, just it launched like a SpaceX capsule. That's nuts. That's nuts. Makes it a prime target for threat actors, high search volume, constant community activity, expanding the reach of lookalike websites. OpenClaw's got a ton of stuff in their marketplace that is probably just malware. Uh, a lot of, as we've talked about, the secrets are kept in plain text or in markdown files or something locally on the site, and the default install of OpenClaw is notoriously insecure. That may have changed recently since all of the negative backlash on that. They may have added some controls in place. I am not for certain. I keep wanting to install this, and then I remind myself that I'm not smart enough to secure it myself. If I'm going to install this thing, I'm probably going to have to put it in a VM and make sure that whatever it does is fairly limited. But I'm interested in installing this, or NanoClaw, I think was another option that tends to be more security focused. What is it? NanoClaw. NanoClaw. Yeah, NanoClaw. Secure. See, it's in the name. It says secure. So, better. What? She's been a little upset. Let me go open the door here. Are you going to come in? All right, let me get the door. Yes, yes, yes. There you go. All right. You going to get up here? Hmm? There we go. All right. You going to sit down here and learn the news with me? Yeah, so this is the one that came up after all of the open clawness that occurred. There we go. Where are you going? Come here. All right. But yeah, so OpenClaw bad, or OpenClaw bad in the wrong hands, right? And so uh, they've noticed a lot of activity. Click fix lures, info stealer payloads are being used. They had a fraudulent website imitating the official. Oh my God, they have. Oh, this sucks because how are they? Let me see, what are they using? Visiting app-clawbot.org, encounter a website that closely mimics the legitimate OpenClaw website but differs in the quick start section. Okay. Because, oh my God, okay. The fraudulent site includes a section called open or download OpenClaw button, which then what? Sends you to where? Okay, so oh my God. Okay. So app-clawbot.org/source/openclaw.exe. Okay. So yeah, this is not how you want to install OpenClaw. So don't do this. Don't do that bit right there where that bad. That's bad. Uh, users are instructed to open the command line and copy paste the following command in. So yeah, okay. Downloading this downloads and executes a sample of the StealC v2 information stealing malware. Great. Great, great, great. Great, great, great. So if you've downloaded openclaw.exe recently from this site, use this SHA-256 hash to find out whether or not you've been owned or not. And I mean, if you have, it's already a little too late probably by now. They've probably stolen all of your stuff. But yeah. Okay. AI agent lure leads to malware payloads. Okay, so they have an advertisement for Clear AI agent circulating on X via Twitter. Oh, okay, great. Or AKA Twitter. Had 1 million views. So literal malware being advertised on Twitter. Thank you, Elon. And I don't feel bad about getting rid of your fucking vehicle, man. So, Jesus. Wow. Okay. So this is a bad one. Oh, it's the AI bot that gets things done. Yes. Okay. Oh, it's got a cute little malware. Yeah, it's got a cute little malware icon there. So yeah. Jesus. Nice. So they got bots helping to promote their shit too. So that's pretty good. They definitely know what they're doing. I mean, they've got marketing down to a science. A lot of these folks. So yeah, pretty bad. Hmm. They even have a downloaded file called clearlai.exe. It even comes with a captcha generator, so that's important. It's used as a decoy while malware operates in the background. It's nuts. Oh, you're back again. Mama went to the store, huh? Yeah. Oh my goodness, are you okay? Okay. All right. Well, you sit down if you want. Anyway, yeah, take a look. Intel 471. They got all the information here about the fake OpenClaw or the OpenClaw that shouldn't be. And just educate your users. Send out an email or something saying, "Hey, if you're going to use OpenClaw, please don't use it on our computers at work. And here's some of the things you should know." Or here's how to configure your open. Hey, you know what? Even better, get buy-in and just say, okay, if you're going to run OpenClaw, here's how you need to secure it. Or these are the things you shouldn't use on OpenClaw because it's not secure, or it stores your bank information in a CSV file or something like that. Do you run OpenClaw? You have claws. Yes, you have claws. I know you have claws. Yeah. Murph. Yeah. Okay. Next. KMSec has potentially linked weaponized crypto trading bots to which threat actors? Lazarus is the only one I know of. Mark, Joseph, and Paul, those are all saints, right? Saint Mark, Saint Joseph, Saint Paul, Saint Lazarus. I'm thinking it's Lazarus. Yeah, of course it is. Um, Contagious Trader Campaign. All right. All right. So we have arbitration is fickle and not something an independent researcher typically does. I welcome all in the threat intel community to check my homework. Okay, so he's got a feeling. Got a feeling. Uh, it's a novel tranche of malware operations I attribute to North Korea Lazarus with high confidence. Campaign is highly active and consists of malicious cryptocurrency trading bot projects on GitHub that advertise enticing yields. Oh, sure, why not? If you can get somebody to download something because, oh, this is going to help you, you know, mine faster or more of your favorite cryptocurrency like Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, there's your hook, right? That kind of thing. Several tactics, techniques, and procedures from Contagious Trader are consistent with North Korea and famous Kalima, which is Kalima, I believe, is some sort of like rat or whatever in North Korea. Let me see. Kalima. Oh, it's a mythical winged horse. What? Really? I thought it was a rat or something. Okay, the mythical winged horse. Cool. Kind of looks like a moth or something. Got weird ears, like the head. This must be somebody else's picture, but it's a Pegasus, basically. Pegasus. That's what it is. Got nicer wings though. Nicer wings. Anywho, 30 GitHub repos, some taken down, more to be found. 37 npm packages, 23 domains and IPs, 5 operator IPs, and more. Okay. For attribution, skip to summary of overlaps between Contagious Colima. That is a straw. Get it? Get it? Oh, okay. My DPRK research site now catalogs npm malware from Contagious Trader campaign. All right. So, interesting. We're getting into infection chains. Let's get familiar with the repository theme. Below is a screenshot of the malicious trading bot project. Okay. Now, this just looks weird. It's not really an about. It just looks like they're adding hashtags or something that will help increase their search engine optimization. Kalshi arbitrage bot in 15 minutes, market polybot, market arbitrage bot, Kalshi arbitrage. Yeah, it just looks like something they're adding It just looks nuts. 90% profitable logic, 100% profitable logic, V2 in sale. Okay. If you're a crypto trader, this is probably like shit for the flies to fly around, man. It's really attractive. It's going to look good. You want to, 90% profitable. That's better than what you're probably getting now. So it's like, yeah, I want some of that. I want to be able to get more, Kalshi yes price and Polymarket up tokens. So I'm going to get those 10%, 10 cents cheaper, or, in the 93 to 96 range in Kalshi. That's probably pretty good. So the sucker born every minute, right? So in addition to widespread footprint, many contagious trader repos have a lot of forks and stars. These are highly likely automated or purchased to give the projects a false sense of legitimacy. Yeah, that makes sense. They use bots, right? So the bots make GitHub accounts. The GitHub account bots then go to the um, uh, site, they fork it, they star it, they show massive amounts of like, yeah, this is good, this is legit, kind of like likes on, if I was using a bot to, have a bunch of people follow my stream here. Obviously I don't do that because you could probably look at some of the metrics on my board. So all of my stuff is organic, y'all. Oh, there we go. So yeah, go and check out Contagious Trader. Check out the person's write up, see if it makes any sense. All right. Oh, I understand this word. It's like Kimru, something like that. It's Welsh. That's a Welsh word, I believe. Said the beast is back. What is it? The beast is the beast. So it's a capital word. The beast is back. Is it a backdoor? Is it a Kubernetes exploit? Is it a ransomware as a service, or is it an NPM worm? Anybody out there watching and not lurking, knows the answer. I'll give you 800 virtual points, just like on Whose Line Is It Anyway? The points are made up; they don't matter, but you'll feel real good about yourself for helping a moron like myself. I don't feel like a Kubernetes instant exploit's going to be called that. Backdoor, the beast. So the beast is attacks. Um, I'm feeling like it's either a worm or a ransomware. The beast. Well, a worm is a beast. Could be called a beast, right? I'm gonna say it's a worm. Oh, see, I was so close. Okay, ransomware is a service. The beast would attack. I was thinking attacking or whatever, but then yeah, the worm got me. So, beast returns. Analysis of the beast ransomware server. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. There you go. There's that. All right. These folks, sorry, not dudes, these folks put out good write ups as well. Analyze and collect a wide variety of internet telemetry, global net flow communications, and open ports data, other types like 509 certificates, passive DNS, WHOIS records, net flow visibility. Yes, yes, yes. According to our open source reports, Beast is ransomware as a service was first promoted on the underground forum RAMP in June of 2024. Beast ransomware is reportedly the successor to Monster ransomware, which was offered on RAMP in March of 2022. An offline builder for Beast ransomware was promoted with the option to configure builds for Windows systems, NAS devices, VMware ESXi hypervisors. All very, very good things that you would want to ransomware. Windows boxes in particular, VMware ESXi, which has hundreds potentially of other VMs on it that would run your crown jewel or have a bunch of good information. And of course, network attached storage devices, going to have your file servers, going to have all of your documents, going to have your maybe payroll records or whatever, and so you're going to have all of your good stuff in there. Beast also specifically avoids encrypting data on devices located in the Commonwealth of Independent States countries such as Russia, Belarus, and Moldova. I wonder where the Beast ransomware comes from if they particularly do not hit Moldova, Belarus, or Russia. Thinking they might be Russian or Belarusian or Belarusian or Moldavan. Moldavan. So, anyway, analysis on Beast leaks Tor data leak site by RansomLook. Beast ransomware operations paused in November 2025 and resumed in January 26. Operators have been fairly active, posting several victims to their leak site from February to March 2026. At the time of writing, they appear to be continuing their operations. So there you go. The team detected Open Directory on 5.78.84.144, hosted at this BGP 212.317. NetFlow augmented open ports collection. We collected a list of notable file names running on port 8000. Analysis of the file names revealed on the Beast operators' servers enabled us to understand the flow of their attacks from start to middle to end. Okay. It's a little more than a 5-minute read. It says 5-minute read, but it's not a 5-minute read. Probably a little bit longer. They do credential theft, persistence, lateral movement, exfiltration, and impact. So, for encrypting, ransomware operators will steal data to threaten the victim with a public leak via its Tor data leak site called Beast Leaks. To be able to steal data, they used Megasync, another well-known tool by many ransomware groups. Megasync works with Mega.nz and can be used to upload hundreds of gigs of data stolen due to it being able to handle large volumes of data. So, if you got hit by Beast, your data is probably somewhere on Mega.nz. Beast operator also uses WinSCP and Clink. I love WinSCP. That sucks. Which can be used to exfiltrate data via secure file transfer protocols, right? SFTP. Surprised they're not using something like. I think WinSCP has a command line function as well, so it's not using the GUI option on WinSCP to be able to do that. Perhaps the most interesting discovery were the files from the final stages of the attack. One file called disabled_backup.bat is a batch script designed to delete volume shadow copies and disable Windows backups. Right. So they don't want you to be able to get your data back. So volume shadow copies are one way of doing that. Also Windows backups. So they're gonna disable that and then delete your data because there won't be any backups. This ensures the victim cannot simply restore their files after the attack. Right. Another file is called Clean Exit is likely a tool used to wipe logs and tools after the encryption is triggered, making forensic recovery harder. Again, yet another reason why you would want your logs and forensic information to be sent to a centralized place and not just stored locally on the box. You're going to miss some event IDs and stuff like that, but you really need to have that telemetry or those logs and activities stored somewhere else, assuming they haven't owned up everything in your environment already. Yeah. So continue to read through. They talk about the conclusion. I'm sure they've got some indicate. Yeah, here's some IOCs, file names that might be useful for looking for things. Clink27.bat. Now here, the bad thing is they probably have WinSCP on here. Oh, they have PSExec. That's a good one. Yeah. Okay, so they're using WinSCP of some type. They don't delete the exe, the setup file. But if you're using WinSCP at your workplace, I wouldn't necessarily put this one in as an option because one, nobody should be using WinRAR in the enterprise. Yeah, I said that. Nobody should be using WinRAR. But that could be that's probably more of an indicator of compromise than WinSCP is. But WinSCP is a legitimate SFTP tool. Even I would have problems with that one because I believe I have WinSCP running. I had WinSCP running on several Windows boxes, even at my workplace back in the day when I had to interact with servers distantly. I'd SFTP to them, and I'd move the files, or I'd SCP to them, and I'd move files. So, oh, Hmm. Okay. Well, that is interesting. I may need to change that. Hmm. Okay. It's got an interesting email, folks. Anyway. Hmm. Okay. Yep. All right. All right. Yeah, let's continue on here. Next. Control Alt Intel showed some OPSEC failures of Fancy Bear. Ooh, using the same what for over 500 days. No, no, not underwear. Oh my God. Okay, so we know it's not underwear. That one was kind of funny. Um, yep. C2 server. I would be more likely to believe it's a C2 server because that means you would think the C2 servers would want to be not necessarily up and running, but you'd want to change them every once in a while because they can get no identified, they can get shut down. Um, they would start identifying you. I'm going to say C2 server. Email address could be possible too because maybe you want to change your the hash or whatever domain generated or randomly generated email address or whatever. I'm going to say C2 server though. Password's a little too much of a gimme, I think, in this case. Yeah, I'm going to say C2 server. Oh, look at that here. Anyway, sorry. Fancy Bear exposed. Is CrowdStrike? Oh no, Control Alt Intel. My bad. Yeah. A major OPSEC blunder inside Russian espionage operations. Okay. Our friends at Hunt.io published an analysis into a campaign they track as Operation Roundish, based on an exposed Open Directory scanned on 13 January 2026. The archive is available on the Hunt.io platform. All right. Fancy Bear, of course, is one of the popular APTs. APT 28. APT 28 is almost certainly the Russian General Staff Main Intelligence Directorate. They have to put a lot of words together for GRU, don't they? Um, Ultra Mega Staff, Hyper Main Intelligence, Go, Directorate General, under, whatever. Anyway, Control Intel discovered a second exposed Open Directory on the same server, one that contained Fancy Bear's C2 source code. Ooh, that's not good. Why would the directory be open? Why would they have an exposed Open Directory? Anyway, what we found inside was staggering. 2,800 plus emails exfiltrated from Gov and Mill mailboxes, 240 sets of stolen creds, including passwords and TOTP 2FA secrets, 140 plus Civ forwarded rules, silently redirecting every incoming email to an attacker-controlled inbox. Wow. Okay. And 11,500 contact email addresses harvested from victim address books mapping entire communication network. Fancy Bear successfully compromised Gov and Mill entities across Ukraine, Romania, Bulgaria, Greece, Serbia, and North Macedonia, which included email addresses linked to 4 NATO member countries. We also identified a previously unreported squirrel mail XSS payload, expanding the known scope of webmail platforms targeted in this campaign. All right. So Fancy Bear operated the same C2 server for over 500 days, long after it was publicly attributed to GRU-linked operations, despite being classified as a sophisticated threat. Fancy they're okay. So they're throwing some shade on Fancy Bear over here. Fancy Bear demonstrated poor operational security on multiple counts, giving us rare, near-complete visibility into Russian espionage operations. There you go. Yeah, so throwing some shade at the Fancy Bears because they kept their servers up and running. Uptime is not something that looks good on a Linux server or a C2 server owned by Fancy Bear. Apparently, those are one and the same. I never understood that. Even when I was, not even in information security, I was like, why do you care about your uptime? It's like, that means you haven't rebooted your boxes in, X number of days. So it says message failed to send. Oh, okay. Your message failed to send. Interesting. Okay, we'll see if that happened. Google covered Dark Sword, which is a full chain exploit leveraging O days on what? Google covered Dark Sword. Oh, I've heard. I saw the Dark Sword. I just didn't read, or I didn't read the article. So iOS. Oh, really? Hey, look at you, Walt. Good job, buddy. Fantastic. Help me out there. Yeah, might actually break even. I gotta get these last two to break even. But all right, so yeah, Google Threat Intelligence Group (GTIG) new iOS full chain exploit on that leveraged multiple OD vulnerabilities on fully compromised devices based on tool marks recovered in tool marks in recovered payloads. We believe the exploit chain to be Dark Sword. Okay. Supports iOS versions 18.4 through 18.7 and utilizes 6 different vulnerabilities to deploy final stage payloads. So 3 distinct malware families deployed following a Dark Sword compromise: Ghost Blade, Ghost Knife, and Ghost Saber. I think I've heard of Ghost Saber before. I think we might have talked about that one on here recently. The proliferation of a single exploit chain across disparate threat actors mirrors the previously discovered Karuna iOS exploit hit, notably UNC 6353, a suspected Russian espionage group previously observed using Karuna, has incorporated Dark Sword into their watering hole campaigns. All right. Well, they've been working since July 2025, and they've upped their game. They've added things to their toolkit. They've done everything. This is a really long write up. I can see that here on my screen. It goes right, and it may not be long. It's just I've got this set to 200%. So they're using deobfuscated. Was that JavaScript? Yeah, it looks like JavaScript for loading RCE workers. Get.js snippet from the dark load loaders. Yeah, so there's got to be a nice, snap share, RCE, yeah, RCE module, RCE worker. Okay, so there's got to be a flow diagram here somewhere. There it is. Landing page, RCE loader.js is the exploit loader depending on the version. So they have an older version all by itself, but 18.6 and 7 are apparently, similar enough. They don't, they can package them together. Use the same RCE exploits and bypasses, and then they use the same sbox0.js file. So they have an 18.4 version and they have a regular version. So they have a legacy. It's nice that they're supporting legacy in this malware here. So, if you can't upgrade to the latest version of iOS 18, you can get the older version and still, get that infection just like everyone else. So you don't have to feel like you're, being left out. But anyway, so that's that one. You can go read more about that one. I'm actually getting a little hangry, so my wife comes home. I'm probably gonna drop off here. Just want to finish up the proliferate, the quiz here. What are interlock ransomware operators using to get creds on compromised system? I can't imagine LSAS still works. Jeez. Volatility. That would be interesting if they're using volatility for that. That volatility, I believe, like reviews memory while the computer is running for things like values, password hashes, bits like that, secrets. I'm gonna say volatility. Oh, look at me! It's a complete guess. Um, yeah. Wow, that's nuts. That's a legitimate piece of software for forensics, right? Like being able to no, that's not what I want. You silly person. There it is. All right, so Amazon threat intel teams identify interlock ransomware campaign. CJ Moses. Okay. Threat intel has identified interlock ransomware exploiting 2026-2131 critical vulnerability in Cisco Secure Firewall Management Center that could allow an unauthenticated remote actor to execute Java code as root on an affected device. Okay. Uh, Misconfigured infrastructure server, essentially a poorly secured staging area used by attackers, expose Interlock's complete operational toolkit. This rare mistake provided Amazon's security teams with visibility into the ransomware group's multi-stage attack chain, custom remote access Trojans, backdoor programs to give attackers control of compromised systems, and reconnaissance scripts, which are automated tools for mapping victim networks, and evasion techniques. Okay. Infrastructure and customer workloads on AWS were not observed to be involved in this campaign. It's probably some legalese that they had to add, but like, oh, we're doing this just for funsies. Nobody from AWS Infra or customer workloads were involved with this. This advisory shares comprehensive technical data and indicators of compromise to help organizations identify compromise and defend against interlock operations. Yeah, so organizations running Cisco firewall management should immediately apply Cisco patches. So yeah, they're just doing this for funsies. They may have found this somewhere else, that kind of thing. Let's see, attribution. Yeah, so interlock, get token, right. Temporal analysis perform timestamps from observed threat activities, artifacts stored on the misconfigured infra server, and metadata embedded within recovered threat artifacts indicates the actor most likely operates in UTC-3 with 75 to 80% confidence. UTC-3, so it's at least Eastern Europe, I believe, in that case. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know exactly what time zone is Belarus in. Time zone Belarus. Look, time zone Moscow Standard Time, GMT +3. So 75 to 80% chance this is in a UTC-3 group, like Belarus or Russia or Moldova. I'm sure Moldova is in the same place. Moldova. Nope, they're in GMT2. Okay, so definitely not Moldova. 75 to 80% confidence that it's in Belarus or Russia or someplace that those countries also share a time zone with that country or that group. So there you go. Okay. I'm just closing shit out. Okay. Anyway, peaked activity between 12 and 1800. I'm assuming that's UTC +3. And a probable sleep window. Oh, so they get 8 hours of sleep. Good for them. It's always good to get 8 hours of sleep, especially if you're a hacker or something like that. Gotta get your 8 hours of beauty sleep. Keep yourself, nice and refreshed and ready to take on the day. Whatever it is that you're planning on doing. I only get 6 hours, and look at me. So how much better would I look if I got a full 8 hours of sleep like these nice hackers do? I could be, hacking nation states and stuff apparently. Let's go grab that and put that over here. Can you imagine? Can you imagine what stand-ups for hackers look like? Like, okay, we got a target today. Gotta make things happen. All right, I think this is the last one. Let me see. Yep, last one. According to Red Canary's 2026 Threat Detection Report, what did the majority of the top 10 threats abuse? I'm not going to say O-Day, because I think that's probably too, I don't want to say too hackery, but I think they probably are, oh God, firewall vulnerabilities. There are a lot of firewall vulnerabilities, and they're really, really hard to patch because people aren't willing to bring down their network to patch the latest RCE, pre-auth RCE, CVSS, level 15 or whatever. Browser could be very, very similar. But we've also seen a lot of identities being taken in GitHub and elsewhere and using tokens, as we've seen in the previous articles. They, did they abuse the identities? No, my guess is they're abusing firewalls. I want to say firewalls. Oh, browser. Damn. Okay. Damn. Okay. That sucks. That sucks. I have a feeling, and I'm gonna have to. Oh, okay, cool, cool, cool. That's okay. Um, Red Canary's 2026 threat report. Here's the. I didn't have to sign up for this. I didn't have to like get beat down by a marketing person. So I didn't have to give them anything. So there it is, right there. We continue to think that AI benefits defenders more than it benefits adversaries, but AI is lowering the barrier to develop and conduct cyber attacks. Very true. I would have argued the other way, that it's attackers more than defenders, but okay. Um, Adversaries leverage AI as a force multiplier, 100%. 100%. Defenders could do that too. Really, I actually believe that 100%. It's critical that defenders develop robust security controls that promote defense in depth and continually assess their coverage against known and emerging threats and techniques. Because the AIs attacking are still using the same computer issues, the ODays, the browsers, the secrets. They're just scanning things faster. They're developing exploits based on known vulnerabilities a lot quicker. The turnaround time to be able to weaponize a vulnerability is faster now because AIs can analyze it and develop an attack for it. Cloud attacks continue to entrench itself as top of the MITRE attack technique. So T1078.004. Okay. This is in part because of the broadness of the technique. Nearly all malicious activity in the cloud requires access to a valid cloud account. True, true. However, it's also partly due to the fact, yeah, I don't like, however, it's also partly due to the fact, I would just say, I don't like how the sentence is structured, but cloud accounts are a proxy for identity compromises. So that's the important thing. 850% more identity threats in 2025 than we did in 2024. That's because people are accidentally uploading their credentials into GitHub repos, which can be easily scanned. Dramatic increases due to many factors, including increased adoption of identity products, so like Okta and MFAs and things. They're not being secured correctly. Improved detection coverage for risky logins, better automation via agentic AI. So better automation, less secure automation for agentic AI. Identities are the most critical security boundary at most organizations, and adversaries are increasingly prioritizing identity compromise as a means to access cloud systems. Browsers continue to be a critical focal point for adversaries and defenders alike. In the current world of identity providers and cloud-based applications, authentication commonly takes place in browsers, and browsers store highly sensitive residential materials like cookie-based tokens. Is it residential? Because I would have thought residual, but because once you've logged in, it keeps the cookie, right? It keeps a residual material, but residential might be correct. I don't know. Maybe it means something else to them. In addition to targeting information stored within browsers, adversaries commonly deliver payloads via browsers as well. Sure. How many write-ups did we just see where it was like they're going to navigate to this website, they're going to download apt-openclaw.ai or something. You're going to go to a browser, you're going to download a file, you're going to do the organizations have optics into their browsers to detect these threats and should implement security controls, including user awareness. User awareness training to mitigate the risk posed by browser-borne threats. There you go. Goodness. RMM tools have become the payload of choice for a wide variety of differently motivated adversaries, and are often the payload that follow paste and run campaigns. Sure. RMM tools are great. They're great. So yeah, this is a 71-page report. You didn't pay for it, so you do what you like. Plug it into an AI and ask it to summarize it for you. That's worked great. Oh, by the way, sorry, don't mean to squirrel, but I love me some Notebook LM. I love that shit. I tell you what, I'm running the Gemini version of that. It's the rag that I wanted. I was able to upload several PDFs of a favorite RPG and another favorite RPG supplement that went along with the system, and you can make queries against that, and it's great. And you can upload up to 200 megabytes. Each PDF or each thing is up to 200 megabytes, and that's great. I mean, 200 megabyte PDF. You can also break them up. So if you have something that's 500 megs, I don't know why you would have a 500 meg PDF, but you can break them up into two, or 370 meg files. So that way it can index them super fast. And yeah, I sat for 3 hours last night. I uploaded the PDFs into it. It indexed them, and I was just asking it questions, and it was answering them for me. Or I was making like suppositions between the various PDFs. I was like, hey, um, help me do this by doing this. What if I don't want to do this thing versus this option in the game or whatever? And it would say, oh well, based on this, you could do this and this PDF or whatever. It gives you options. And I was like, oh my god, crazy. Notebook LM, it blows my freaking mind. I love it. I'm hoping that we'll, if we're not already using it at work, that we'll be able to use that for like knowledge based stuff, or put all of our policies into a local notebook LM and be able to do things with those, like be able to make queries or do whatever. I love those things. Man, just sorry I geeked out, but yeah, I love it so much. Love it so much. Um, all right, show results. Hey, we did better than average. Thanks to Walt, of course, for helping out with a couple of those to make our score a little better. But yeah, uh, still working things out at work. Going to figure out how I'm going to. My boss is like really happy that I do this. Hey, boss. Hey, how you doing? I'm going to continue doing short content. Oh, sorry. One more thing before we go. I'd be remiss. B-side San Diego coming up. It's going to be April 4th. Come on, man. There we go. April 4th. Got some good stuff going on. We've got a couple more sponsors. Fire Mountain Labs is coming in. We've got a really cool badge. Like I said, Badge Life. All of these excellent teams and groups. San Diego State is hosting the venue. Intuit is helping. Code Tools, Sumo Logic, Spacewalk, Core Light, Black Hills InfoSec. Yeah, good job, buddies. White Knight Labs, Sublime Security, Healer, Moken, Moken, Delete Me, Ataxian, Ataxian, at I think it's at Taxian or Ataxan. I'm sorry, they're good people. Sunset Recon, Fire Mountain Labs. Fire Mountain Labs is a veteran disabled organization, so they're disabled veterans who run a small business. Love them. Yeah, several community partners. San Diego Underground is great. Their new security meetup that has been going on here in the San Diego area ever since some of the DEF CON stuff went down with the DEF CON groups. We started San Diego Underground. It's an offshoot of Irvine Underground, which has been going on since I was nigh on to a little babes here. So and CCOE and some kind of male icon with an eye on it. I'm not sure what that is. Let me see. Let me see if I can hover over that and see what that is. I cannot. So I'll figure out what that is and I'll get back to y'all on that. So yeah, we still have tickets. So if you're interested in coming and joining us, please grab a ticket. We are a nonprofit. We're completely volunteer fed. I don't get paid to do any of this. They don't sponsor me. I did sponsor them last year. BreakSec did sponsor them last year. And thanks to you folks for helping with that, because your money that you give me goes to them. So if you find benefit in what I'm doing, I give all of my proceeds pretty much to organizations like this or the mental health hackers or whatever. I don't take any of the money that I get from Twitch or Patreon yeah, for myself. Never have, even when I was laid off. That money is in a nice bank account somewhere. It's not my money. It's not really my money. But I like to give it to organizations like this or the mental health hackers or the Diana Initiative to help them, be better and to do more things and to have more flexibility to do stuff. So, but yeah, tickets are available, I think, still. We may have a couple of workshops still available. Let's go see. All right. So yeah, if you want to, if you're going to get reimbursed by your company, get the $300 one. Yeah. Still cheaper than DEF CON, right? Yeah, got some training available still for 17 bucks. Got some raffle tickets. I think we're going to be giving away some prizes. It says few tickets left, and it's like the bunny rabbit is pulsating. So you're no joke. I think if you don't get a ticket, you don't get in because we're not going to have tickets at the door. So you have to buy a ticket to come to the conference to then buy a ticket for training. That's how that works. So, but it's only 17 bucks for training, so you got that going for you. Anyway, yeah, bsidessd.org. If you're interested, bsidessd.org. Yep. And yeah, I want to leave. I don't need a ticket. I'm going to be there. I'm going to be volunteering. Um, so yeah, come by if you're in San Diego, or fly on out. It's supposed to be a nice week. I'll take a look and see what the long range forecast looks like. But unless May Gray and June Gloom show up early, it's going to be a nice week. So, um, but anyway, I'm hungry. I'm going to go eat. Thanks, Walt, for helping me out with the survey. Hope your weekend homework goes well. And hope everyone has a good weekend and take care of yourselves, okay? As we're fond of saying here, you're the only you have. And you got to take care of your mental health. It's very, very important, especially this time of year. So, all right, well, have a good day. And y'all, everyone else, have a good time, okay? Take care. Be safe. Bye.